Am I still a greenhorn? I guess. Yeah,
Whatever.
for sure. For sure.
Nice to you.
Gotta have time to go.
Let's go. Yeah. Wait, you're on something.
Are you doing the podcast?
Oh yes.
Hey everybody, welcome to Nothing Yet Live. I'm the Jay Tyler.
Hi, I'm Tracy, the greenhorn. Still.
So far, still the greenhorn.
Still. Yeah.
Welcome to Nothing Yet Live. You guys can call in on Messenger. Feel free to. We've got some stories for you today. Finally, we're closing in on this. I don't know how many more of these fucking rallies I can watch.
Yeah.
But listening to them just get slightly he's like just getting slightly crazier and crazier, And
And desperate. Yeah.
I guess I don't know if it is real, but I got a report that said that Trump said if Biden gets elected, he'll be shot within 3 weeks of getting elected.
Yeah. That's not.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then he proceeds to immediately jump into attacking Harris and shit like that.
Right.
And just
like you were saying to me earlier, that's a call to arms.
a call to arms. Yeah.
Yeah. That's no joke.
He says Kamala Harris makes Bernie Sanders look like a conservative. Well, guess what? Bernie is a conservative. He's very conservative. Everybody talks about how cheap he is. He's very, very conservative. So you're right, Trump. You nailed it.
Yeah.
He is certainly a conservative. But anyway, we were going to talk about, speaking of what's going on, I it's looking good for us, but I'm not going to start sucking each other's dicks yet.
Exactly.
So go ahead, Elizabeth Warren.
Yeah, she wants to be Joe Biden's Treasury Secretary and will make her case for it if he wins next week, according to 3 Democratic officials who have spoken within her inner circle. She wants it, 2 of them said matter-of-factly.
Yeah, Warren moves could set up a marquee fight between the party's left and its center over what will be the most consequential cabinet roles in the next administration. The Treasury Department will be tasked with steering the U.S. economy out of a deep recession, even as the country struggles with the coronavirus pandemic. Man, come on.
Other leading contenders for the Treasury slot include Federal Reserve Governor Lael Brainerd.
You said slot.
Sarah Bloom Raskin, a former Treasury Department official, and Roger Ferguson, a former Federal Reserve Vice Chairman and current CEO of financial services giant TIAA.
CREF. Is that they're like a investment? Yeah,
probably.
they're,
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm shocked. You put a bunch of experts in charge.
Right.
He wants to put the best people in the best positions.
Right.
To be most effective and accomplish the task.
Trump said he would do 4 years ago, and he did the complete opposite. Right.
God damn. It's funny. He fired so many people and he says each one is better than the last one. It's like, did you start at the bottom of the barrel, dude? Just
he did.
I like the crunchy stuff at the bottom.
Yeah.
He went right for the shit. He went for the tilapia.
Yeah.
As opposed to the lobster.
Yeah.
What a douchebag.
But tapping Warren would rally progressives who have been pushing, some quietly, others loudly, for her to get the role. But it would also likely draw strong opposition from Wall Street and some moderate Democrats.
Yeah, because they're all invested kind of in the same shit. But some are honest and some are fucking criminals, man.
Exactly.
I
would be down for her to take the position personally.
Yeah.
She has my vote for that.
Also, anybody out there that might be watching, which is our fan, maybe one fan. Mm-hmm. But hey, we're working on getting the show. We're trying to find a timeline. Her work can be this amount of time or this amount of time, because she's
on Thursdays and Fridays.
Yeah, she's
evening work.
Yeah, so we're gonna try to put more stuff out there. So if you guys are watching this later, but yeah. You guys. Also, you guys can call in on Messenger.
Yeah.
Either one of us, you can hit us up on Messenger.
Yep.
So,
If you have anything to say
you-
or
yeah,
questions,
yeah,
or
exactly.
whatever,
or just tell me I'm full of shit.
or tell us that we're awesome, whatever.
It's 5 days out. We're focused on the election. Oh, look at this.
Oh.
Speak of the devil. That's you.
Oh.
Is he calling into the show?
I can't tell.
Oh, that's me.
Yeah, it's you, silly.
Well, hello.
I just wanted to let
Hi,
you know
Anna.
that I don't
This is
see it streaming on YouTube.
you. What?
I don't see it streaming on YouTube. I hear it through the wall.
That's funny.
Okay.
Well,
It says end stream.
yeah, it's on.
Huh, very odd. In any case,
Yeah.
I'm sure it's a terrific show. I know it is because I hear it through the wall.
Thanks, Anna.
Oh,
But
she's
yeah,
trying
I-
to video chat me. Ugh.
I don't know why it's not
Oh, yeah.
streaming.
I don't-
Turn off your video.
My video is off.
Okay.
I figured you wanted to show my lovely face through the
Well, I haven't
tiny photo in the tiny phone.
I haven't figured this out yet.
Yeah. But it's still streaming.
Yeah, I can see us, and it's got a counter on it.
So
Oh, okay. Well, maybe
we'll
it's
see.
just my.
We're still trying to
my
figure
page.
this
Yeah,
out.
maybe reset your YouTube or something. I don't know.
I will reset my YouTube or something.
Yeah.
Reset your YouTube.
We were.
So what do you think? What do you think of this Elizabeth Warren?
Yeah.
shit?
What do you think about that?
About
Biden.
Elizabeth Warren, what?
Tapping Elizabeth Warren,
Yeah.
For
How
the-
Elizabeth Warren's like, I want to be the Treasury
Treasury
Secretary.
Secretary. Yeah.
Well, she should be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one issue with Elizabeth Warren is that her state is headed by a Republican governor.
Right.
So depending on what the results of the election are, either she will absolutely be needed in the Senate or she won't. But we
Right.
will know that in any case before she would become Treasury
Right.
Secretary. So,
Yeah.
and ideally, the results would allow her to leave, even if her Republican governor replaced her with a Republican, which I'm not sure he would,
Right.
because he's
Right.
more an old style Massachusetts Republican.
Right.
Right. So
the
he's
kind
probably
that
voting
used
for
to
Biden.
exist.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
liberal,
I mean-
the rare liberal Republican.
I definitely want her in the cabinet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
She is, she was my choice
Same
for
here.
president in
Yeah.
the first place.
Same here.
So anywhere she can be, she would be
Contribute.
great.
Yeah. Exactly.
Again, I feel like all Trump had to do was surround himself with like the people that would do the best job,
And he didn't.
and he didn't. He
But
surrounded
he
himself.
most certainly
He
did
picked
not.
the best criminals.
Yeah. No, but I feel
He
like
didn't even pick great
Right.
criminals. He
Actually,
they
you're
ended up
right.
in
He
jail.
picked the big loser
no,
criminals.
his friends
Exactly.
and his
Yeah.
friends and,
And-
shit.
And
Which,
today
of course,
we
are
have,
losers.
I'm not sure which numbers. I know the New York Times uses different numbers, so I don't know what they're running. But on Worldometer, we're up to a new record of cases,
Yeah.
89,704 right now, with 1,038 new deaths.
We're
Yeah.
number one. We're
Great
And
job.
we're-
what?
We're,
COVID just
we're rounding the
reached 9
corner,
million.
rounding the corner and heading up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's bad,
Yeah, it's a switchback.
and we have more stories about that.
Yeah, we got.
Well, I will look forward to hearing them, and I'll see if it's just an Anna YouTube issue.
Yeah, hopefully it is.
Yeah.
No offense.
I mean, it
All right.
says it's recording. I'm getting a counter. I mean, I didn't change anything. I don't think.
So we'll see.
Well,
no.
I'll sign in and sign out, and I will sign off for now.
Okay.
Bye.
Well, thanks for
Bye.
calling in.
Um. So all right. So Warren is definitely the best person for the job,
Yeah.
as far as I'm concerned. We got some good news for you later, but we're gonna still I'm gonna still fuck with you for a
Yeah,
little
we
bit.
still have some bad news with the virus and the Supreme Court.
Yeah, we got to get through the shit before we can give you guys the good stuff.
Yeah.
But okay, so I'm spending this time basically quoting.
Which one?
I'm spending this time quoting. What I'm finding is like Donald Trump's best quotes, right? During his rallies, right? So
Right. 3 a day.
he talks about this. He talks about this red wave, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's like, he said, there's a red wave coming. You just wait for it. And I'm like, yeah, it's a bloodbath.
Yeah.
It's going to be a fucking
A
bloodbath.
bloodbath for the GOP.
COVID. They'll stop talking about it on November 4th.
Right.
He says, it's a whole crazy thing. It's complicated, so I won't bother to try to explain it to you, right?
'cause
Like
he can't.
and because he thinks he knows his people are stupid. He thinks
Yeah.
his people are stupid.
Yeah.
The people in the crowd, he's like, I have
Yeah.
a plan, but it's complicated,
Right.
some crazy,
Like,
it's a whole November 4th. It's a whole crazy thing.
remember what he
It's
said
too
about
complicated to explain.
remember what he said about healthcare back 4 years ago?
Oh, it's very complicated.
Who would have known
That it was
how
so-
complicated healthcare was? It's like everybody who jackass.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. He's just dumb. He's as dumb as a rock.
And before we go to this before we get to the Supreme Court, speaking of the Supreme Court, Trump says our country will never be a socialist country, right? And I'm like, never?
Yeah.
Like, you can tell the future now.
Yeah.
You're not even going to be around in 4 years.
Yeah.
And that's if you get elected, which is a big if.
Yeah. And I can't wait till he doesn't have a platform, period.
We will never be a socialist country. You know what? We're going to be some other kind of country. Let's be like
Yeah.
a country that is not, one of these names that
Not
is
on
so
the right-
fucking archaic that
Right.
it's just
And not
like-
heading towards fascism.
yeah,
or-
exactly.
Yeah.
And I've got some more good stuff. He said, he loves our suburban women. He loves our suburban. He loves
Right. And
he
we know
loves-
how much they love him.
Yeah.
Not.
Yeah, he loves all women though.
Yeah.
All right, Dayline, Washington. You want to go?
Yes. Okay. North Carolina, yes. Pennsylvania, yes. Wisconsin, no. That's how the Supreme Court has answered questions in recent days about an extended timeline for receiving and counting ballots in those states. In each case, Democrats backed the extensions and Republicans opposed them. All three states have Democratic governors and legislatures controlled by the GOP.
It's,
At first blush, the difference in the outcomes at the Supreme Court seems odd because the High Court typically takes up issues to harmonize the rules across the country. But elections are largely governed by states, and the rules differ from one state to the next.
that doesn't make a lot of sense in a federal election.
Yeah.
It should just, like, federal elections, of course, it's like federal elections should just be all the votes are counted.
Right.
Like, that's all there is to it.
But these cases are being dealt with on an emergency basis in which the court issues orders that either block or keep in place a lower court ruling.
That's a big asterisk.
Right. But there's almost never an explanation of the majority's rationale,
Mhm.
though individual justices sometimes write opinions that partially explain the matter.
Oh, because that's what we want in our laws, partial explanations,
Right,
right?
right,
There's
right.
also a difference in how the justices act based on whether they are ruling on a lawsuit that began in a state or federal court. So, I guess that's kind of thing. There is a separation
Right,
between those two
yeah.
courts. But, yeah. Okay, so Trump had said it before. He says, like, states' rights versus federal
Right.
rights, and he uses it both ways. It's
Yeah.
great. In
course.
states that he cares about,
Right.
it's states' rights. So
Right. But
he-
the blue states,
the blue states, where
like,
it's
they're on
all
their own.
we're all criminals and
Yeah.
disease-ridden,
right. And
fuckers,
and like it's like he blames the blue states for COVID and anything that doesn't go his way.
yeah, exactly. So even in the middle of a coronavirus pandemic, the power to alter absentee ballot deadlines and other voting issues rests with state legislatures, not federal courts. So
Right.
what they're doing is fucked up.
Yeah, it is.
And Kavanaugh is at the fucking head of that shit.
Yeah.
So all you fuckers that cheered that asshole.
The court is also divided, but so far has been willing to allow states' courts interpreting their own state constitutions to play more of a role than their federal counterparts.
Yeah, exactly. No, he'll sit there and say, "I want states' rights. I want state rights," but then he's like, "I'm gonna send in federal cops to deal
Right.
with
Yeah.
protesters."
The
Which-
guy has no idea, has no idea what the Constitution. He's never read the U.S. Constitution before. Obviously, it's not very long. You can get it on the counter of the Santa Cruz bookshop right now for like $6. It's a thin,
Yeah, it's like a little
periodical
tiny
thing.
Yeah.
I recommend everyone go get it.
Yeah.
Actually,
So as usual, they didn't finally resolve the legal issues involved, but they could do so after an election, of course. Yeah, but I mean, what if Trump loses? Trump, it will lose.
Yeah.
You know,
Please.
it has gone fucking way south. I mean, we need to
Yeah.
fucking right the motherfucking ship, or
Wait, go back here.
we're in trouble.
Even a decision that only looked ahead to future elections would be concerning, given that states courts often have been more protective of the right to vote under state constitutions than the federal courts have under the U.S. Constitution.
Said University of Kentucky law professor Joshua Douglas. Look, no, he wants to give the states that support him states' rights. but
Only this,
he wants
yeah.
to take,
But there's a
take away from
condition. Yeah.
them. There's
Only,
always a condition,
Yeah.
and it's always this.
He's it's always transactional. He is
Yeah,
the
I
most
will give you.
transactional
I will give.
president in history.
I will give you the stimulus bill after
the
I'm
elect-
elected.
Yeah, exactly.
After I'm elected.
Right.
So if
But
he
only
doesn't
to
get
the red
elected,
states.
if he doesn't get elected, you know, if
But-
he doesn't
but
get
back-
elected, then he's just going to withhold it until the beginning of the
Right.
year, and just
But-
because it's a slash and burn technique with him, man.
Right.
You know?
But back to his call to arms about Biden getting shot.
yeah.
Like that's, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but every
said he
American should be
could.
concerned with that statement.
That's a yeah. You know, I'm going to get
Like
to
you
that.
said
Don't worry
earlier,
about that.
you said that's sedition, that's treason.
It's definitely
Yeah.
fucking treason.
Like it's hard to even like. It's stunning to me that a sitting president would make a comment like that.
right.
You know,
It's disturbing that anybody would make a comment like
right?
that. Kind of.
Especially the sitting president.
Yeah. So let's get back to some more of these classic. This is classic Donald Trump. I wish I had my airdrops because I wanted to play a bunch of over the top things where it was like
Yeah.
wah, 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 type shit. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so he says to suburban women, we talked about that, right?
Yeah.
We talked about the regulations. Okay.
No.
No.
we
Okay,
haven't.
so he talks to suburban when he's like, regulations. I've got your regulations down to a level. We can go further, right?
Right.
Who's he fucking talking to? I mean, I don't know a lot of suburban housewives, but I don't think regulations
Yeah.
means really anything to them other than it will pollute their fucking environment and shit. So he's removing regulations on things like, you know, environmental protections, but he's also removing regulations on things like allowing low-income housing in suburbs, right? And so if he takes away those regulations, now it sounds like a good thing when he's like, take away your regulations, take away your regulations. It's like, no, he's taking away your regulations. So lower income people can't live in nice neighborhoods, even
Right.
if they could like necessarily afford it, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
He says regulations will bury your family. I don't think the average suburban mom housewife, which he probably believes that every woman in the world is,
Right.
I believe regulations don't affect them like that, right?
Yeah.
And so it's just it goes on, and it's like he says like fucking anarchists are trying to move into these suburban, nice,
Right.
beautiful suburban neighborhoods. Suburban women, why don't you love me? Or they love because I I take away crime, right? You know, and I keep the anarchists out and the leftists and the Marxists and the
Antifa
and the
is-
rioters and Antifa.
Antifa's trying to move in next door to you.
Yeah, exactly, right. But I bet every Proud Boy in the country lives in a suburban
Yeah,
neighborhood,
exactly.
quite possibly in his mom's basement.
Yeah. Exactly.
Those are the guys you want to
Most
worry
likely.
about.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
so that's all, you know. So this is one story you wanted to touch on. Is it right here? Do I get the, is that just it?
Well, no,
Or is
I
it-
was gonna.
Oh yeah, read it off there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, oh, you're going with that one.
Yeah.
That's here.
Certain up next.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, cool.
Well, just yeah. It's the resurgence of coronavirus cases engulfing the U.S. and Europe is imperiling economic recoveries on both sides of the Atlantic as millions of individuals and businesses face the prospect of having to hunker down once again.
Oh.
Growing fear of an economic reversal coincided with a report Thursday that the U.S. economy grew at a record 33.1% annual rate in the July-September quarter.
Even with that surge, the world's largest economy has fully rebounded from its plunge in spring and the virus first erupted. And now the economy is slowing just as new confirmed viral cases accelerate and rescue aid from Washington has dried up. It hasn't dried up. Fucking money's there. They just don't.
They just won't give it up.
They just don't want to give it.
Till November 4th.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And then we'll never hear about coronavirus again.
Right.
Yeah. And everything will be great.
Yeah.
No one will be unemployed.
Right.
Yeah.
Everyone will have a white picket fence.
Yep. And you'll get your $600 stimulus check because that'll
Yeah.
fix everything.
But if many consumers and companies choose or are forced to retrench again in the response to the virus as they did in the spring, the pullback in spending and hiring could derail economic growth. Already in the US and Europe, some governments are imposing restrictions to help stem the spread of the virus because the virus has not been contained. Trump
Not
keeps
even
talking about
close.
we're
We're
rounding
rounding
the corner. It's like, no, we're not.
Yeah. And he's telling us over and over to these states that, like, again, he doesn't rally in cities and states that he lost.
Right.
You know, he even doubled down. It was great. He did he did a rally in Arizona, but his rally in Arizona was so close to Nevada that he had a bunch of people from Nevada come too.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know if they were fucking paid. Where were we at?
Chicago.
Okay, in Chicago, where Governor J.B. Pritzker, that's a hell of a name,
Yeah.
of Illinois, has banned indoor dining and drinking. Grant DePorter, who runs Harry Carey's
Restaurant.
I'm Harry Carey, and vote for Trump. Restaurant group worries that the blow to restaurants and their employees
Could be severe.
severe. Well, no shit.
Why are they open in the first place?
Dude, it's already fucking severe.
Yeah.
It's already severe. Yeah. And he's banning it because apparently people can't fucking behave.
Well,
When was the last time we talked about this? When was the last time you
that I ate indoors in a restaurant, I don't know, February, March.
Yeah, I think it was around that time I went up and had lunch with my dad,
Yeah.
and we went to a small Mexican
Well,
restaurant.
we live in
but that was
California.
because I
okay.
knew that the lockdown took effect on Monday and it was Thursday, and I was like, I may not see
But we
my
live in a
dad.
state that has been extra,
Extra careful.
right. But you go in the Midwest or, the Rust Belt, if they still refer to it as that, where, restaurant, indoor
Well,
dining.
yeah, all the steel dried up, so
Right.
yeah, it's definitely the Rust Belt.
Indoor dining and bars have been open for a long time, and like you won't catch me in there. I follow Fauci, Dr. Fauci. What he says, I follow, which is I won't eat indoors. I won't go to a bar.
I mean,
So.
everyone is incredibly disappointed by the state's decision. Who is everyone?
Yeah.
Did you take a poll on that?
Yeah.
Or you just say everyone says?
Yeah.
Like, man, they're really after these
And then
governors,
France.
man. Yeah, in France.
I must say I really dig the French, and they're when they're not happy with their government, they just go to the streets right away and let them know. Like,
They disgust me as humans.
really?
No, they don't. Of course not. They don't. French people are just fine, I'm sure.
But I just admire how they just don't take any shit from the government.
Yeah, but I mean, the government also doesn't if they go out to protest, they go out to protest.
They don't have to break shit.
They don't have to break shit because the cops aren't shooting them.
Right,
It's
exactly.
yeah,
It's about actually what they're protesting about.
Yeah.
It's not like a distraction for the president to twist and make about something that it's not.
yeah. So
If that even made sense.
Macron declared a nationwide lockdown starting Friday, and in Germany, Merkel announced a 4-week shutdown of the bars, restaurants, and theaters. Merkel warned of a difficult winter as Germany's daily reported coronavirus hits a new high on Thursday. It's the same here. It's like, okay, that's 2 countries. Now, if I was closed-minded, it was just whatever, that's just 2 countries. It's like, dude, no.
No, it's Europe.
It's fucking everywhere,
Yeah.
man.
It's Europe. It's India.
It's not
It's-
China's fault either.
It's
not the China.
It's just it's bad, and of course it's really bad in the U.S. because
no, we have a quarter of the world's deaths,
Yeah.
or something like
in
that.
cases it's
Yeah.
only going up.
It's like,
Not-
and
We're not
presidents
rounding a corner.
and it's not, and we're going to be hearing about it on November 4th, 5th.
Whether
And I'm talking about 2021, November 4th.
Yeah,
5th.
right,
On
yeah,
November
yeah.
21. It's
Right.
we're still going to be fucking hearing about
Well,
it. So.
because virus, like viruses tend to do, isn't going anywhere.
Mhm.
It's here to stay.
Right.
Okay, so you can hold your breath and hunker down and wait for a vaccine,
Yeah.
or you can be smart and wear a mask social distance, wash your hands.
This disease is still going to exist in the wild,
Yeah,
even if there's no new cases for 50 years, right?
yeah,
It's still going to exist in the
Nice
wild, and
fucking
maybe we'll have
sulfur
developed
fart.
up an immunity for that particular coronavirus,
Right.
and then there'll be a new one,
yeah.
and then they'll
exactly.
blame the Democrats in
Right,
China
yeah.
or whoever else.
Politicize.
Yeah,
another
whoever
part,
else is
yeah.
on the fucking
Which
chopping
is
block.
just wrong.
But only takeaway meals. I mean, that seems like the only person that suffer by providing only takeaway menus is the people that are like waiters and stuff.
Yeah.
Like the business owner can cut staff and just have
Yeah.
a minimum staff just making to go orders.
Right.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, see, and then there's Spain. Some regions in Spain have closed bars and restaurants, but the government hasn't provided subsidies to aid the proprietors, triggering protests in Barcelona this week by business owners who banged pots, waving
Banged
cocktail
pots.
shakers, and chanted, "We want to work."
We want to work. Well, okay. Well, I don't want to die.
Yeah,
So you can go
yeah.
ahead and go back to work, but
Yeah.
I'm not going to your restaurant.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, why don't I mean, it's just it makes me sad that the workforce is so disposable.
Yeah.
That the I can understand small business owners crying because it's like, yeah, well, you know what? Hopefully you didn't vote for Trump.
Yeah.
Because if you did, then you deserved every effing thing you got, bro.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
that's all there is to it.
Yeah, exactly.
The U.S. government's estimate Thursday of third quarter growth showed that the economy has regained only about thirds of the output that was lost earlier this year when the eruption of the virus closed businesses, threw tens of millions out of work, and caused the deepest recession since the Great Recession. Well, no shit. Not to mention fires, fucking hurricanes.
Yeah.
It's just like
And I just wanted
devastating.
to just piggyback on that,
Yeah, no.
that a president who downplayed the coronavirus threat, scorned masks, and undercut scientists at every turn, governors who resisted or rolled back containment measures amid public backlash, state lawmakers who used federal COVID-19 aid to plug budget holes instead of beefing up testing and contract tracing.
Yeah.
As a powerful new wave of infections sweep the U.S. just ahead of Election Day, the nation's handling of the nearly 8-month-old crisis has been marked by what health experts see as grave missteps, wasted time, and squandered opportunities by leaders at all levels of the government. And the result, the country could be looking at a terrible winter.
And yet
Tell us something we don't know.
on a rally, I think it was either Wednesday or whatever, but he quotes Charlie Sheen and he goes, winning.
Yeah.
Winning.
Yeah,
We're
right.
winning.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like a
What
real
are we
big
winning? Oh, yeah.
fucking win.
Cases and deaths.
Yeah, we're number
Yeah, we're
one.
number one.
We're breaking records up in here, Trump. You're right.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Yeah.
it's all of this shit is just bullshit. Of course, like there's going to be tons of job growth after the virus goes away or
Yeah.
after we get it handled.
Yeah.
There's going to be tons of job growth because all the people that are out of work right now will get their jobs back,
Yeah.
and the unemployment rate will
if
go
they're
down.
lucky, there's lots of jobs that aren't coming back.
Yeah, like President Trump.
Huh?
Jobs
Let's hope.
Jobs not available.
Yeah.
So,
You're not being asked to return to your job,
yeah,
Mr. Trump.
perhaps no economic sector is under a darker cloud in the bar and restaurant industry. Of course, because those people live paycheck to paycheck. Actually, a lot of times they live day to day.
Yeah.
They rely on the money they're going to make that day to
Paycheck to
maybe make
paycheck.
a bill, man.
They rely on their tips.
Yeah, you might be like, fuck, I got to pay my phone bill by tonight. So I got to go to work and
Yeah.
make this money, right? And now you're not getting tips and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like those people are very, very affected.
It's devastating. I mean, there's truly devastating, consequences.
But when you make policies like voluntary employment, where you can quit or the boss can fire you just at any time for any
Right.
reason, even if it's like, hey, you didn't do anything wrong, but instead of like furlough you or having you resign, or instead of furloughing you, I'm just going
Yeah.
to fire you.
Yeah.
And then they fight your unemployment.
Right,
It's
exactly.
like you just got fired for no fucking reason, and then
Yeah.
they just
And now they're going to deny your unemployment.
Yeah.
Thanks
Yeah,
a
well,
lot.
they're definitely in a position of power. Dude, he went to Wisconsin, for 10 fucking electoral votes. Again, if they ain't scraping the fucking bottom
Yeah.
of the barrel, Wisconsin, you're a goddamn flyover state, dude.
Yeah.
You have 10 electoral votes, man.
Yeah.
Trump would call you losers.
Yeah.
Right?
And he left you out in the cold.
Well, that was a different rally, but
Yeah, but
also
still,
in,
it's
also
still
in
the
Wisconsin.
same state. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. It was,
For a photo op, he flew into some hangar
and acted how like he had to stand out there in the cold.
and then bailed and left all these elderly people and
Yeah.
families to
They
fend-
were like, they said they needed like 30 buses and no buses
they
came.
ended up in the hospital with hypothermia
Yeah, and it's all because he wants to use the Air Force One as a backdrop for his
Right.
fucking photo
for his
shoots.
photo op,
Yeah,
just like he
And-
did
and
in
it's
DC.
much- it's
during-
probably much more secure. Airport be much
Yeah.
more secure, right?
But I mean, I want to know. I hope that those people that were at that rally up in the hospital, I hope they didn't early vote. Like, hopefully, you still have a chance to make your vote count and like go vote
Yeah,
Trump
shit.
out.
Yeah, but I'm out. Dude, he says, who likes the governor in Wisconsin? He says, who likes the governor? And everybody goes, boo. And he goes, who doesn't like the governor? Everybody goes, yeah, right?
Right.
And it's like, dude, she won.
Yeah.
And your audience is just full of fucking trumpets,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
And she won, dude.
Yeah.
So Wisconsin spoke,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah. Exactly.
What?
It's so dumb.
She's not a loser.
Yeah.
She won.
She won. Exactly.
Because people were tired of your shit.
Yeah.
And she didn't quote Charlie Sheen
No.
winning.
And she doesn't lie every time she opens her mouth.
Oh God, yeah. Yeah, exactly.
That's his rallies are just like want like lie, 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 lie,
Yeah.
lie.
And then we're gonna finish off on a story that sort of gave us a little hope,
Yeah, a little
hope, but-
fluff. A little,
But this is the last thing I want to talk about. He says AOC doesn't know how to fire up a plant, like a
like a power plant.
like a power plant
Yeah.
or a factory.
Yeah.
She doesn't know how to fire a plant. She never studied it. Well, maybe in high school, certainly not in college. Did she even go to college? Now, okay,
Actually,
she doesn't
did.
know how to fire up a power plant. I
Does
don't
Trump?
know how to fire up a power
Does
plant.
Trump? I don't
Mhm.
think so. No, I don't.
I maybe know one guy. Nah,
Yeah.
I don't really know him, but I bet he could fire up a power plant.
Right. But
he worked in mines. Fire up a power-
But Trump is just ridiculous.
Does she know how to fire up a power plant?
I bet she didn't pay someone to take her SATs.
Yeah, exactly.
Trump.
Talk about fucking studying.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, our last story is brought to you by Etsy.com/shop/mask by JC.
Yeah. Thanks, Janelle. We love
Thank
your
you,
masks.
Janelle. Yeah, yeah.
I'll be placing an order soon because I've misplaced my vote one and I miss it. So I will be ordering some. And they're so soft.
By misplaced, you mean she strangled somebody
Yeah.
who wasn't wearing a mask with her mask.
But yeah, like her masks, the fabric is nice and soft and thick, and they're awesome.
I love
And
them.
they're way affordable.
I always wear my
So-
yeah, check her out. Etsy.com/shop/masks by JC.
JC.
Also, Facebook.com/design by Greg. He makes our stickers and stuff if you
Yeah.
guys want some. We also got a button maker who will make you whatever kind of button you want. If you
Yeah.
send us a picture, we can get it. Executive producer Anna, producer engineer Tage,
And
Anna Zivian and Tage Harris.
and here is associate producer
associate
Nibbles.
producer Nibs.
She's sleeping,
I'm tired.
but she's farting.
And of course, all of our fan. And we're going to leave you with this story.
Okay, so there is
I got you,
a
right.
coral reef taller than the Empire State Building discovered in Australia's Great Barrier Reef.
She says, go back like you guys can't hear it.
An enormous 1,600 foot tall coral reef was discovered in Australia's Great Barrier Reef, scientists announced Monday in the first such
Announced.
find in more than a century. The massive underwater structure, the first newfound reef in 120
Nice.
years, dwarfs iconic skyscrapers such as New York City's Empire State Building and the Petronas Twin Towers in Kuala Lumpur,
Yeah, they're-
Malaysia.
That's a big reef. I
Yeah.
can't, you would think, like, how the fuck did they not know about this thing?
Well, who knows?
But hey, at least it's nice to see a thriving reef that size that we never knew about.
Right. You know, finish me.
The detached reef was first observed October 20th by a team of Australian scientists aboard a reef from the Schmidt Ocean Institute. a nonprofit foundation that supports marine research. The 12-month expedition is designed to explore the oceans surrounding Australia and to map the seafloor around the northern Great Barrier Reef. This unexpected discovery affirms that we continue to find unknown structures and new species in our oceans, said Wendy Schmidt. Sounds like a cool name.
On Sunday,
Unbreakable Wendy Schmidt.
On Sunday, the team used an underwater robot to explore the new reef, finding that it measures almost a mile wide at its base.
Nice.
The reef's tallest point extends roughly 130 feet below the ocean surface, according to the researchers.
Nice. We are surprised and elated at what we have found, said Robin Bowman, a marine geologist at James Cook University in Queensland, Australia. So I imagine he's like, we found it. Might
You might.
throw another shrimp on the, not one of those shrimp.
On the bottom.
Who's leading the expedition, said in a statement. The reef was located off North Queensland. Hazel, when you're out there, you got to check it out.
Yeah.
In an area around Cape York, 7 other detached reefs had been discovered in this region since the late 1800s.
That's like you said. How did they miss it?
Well, we just don't, no one has the time. It's a
Yeah.
remote area.
And it says to find a new half-kilometer tall reef in the offshore Cape York area of the well-recognized Great Barrier Reef shows how mysterious the world is just beyond our coastline.
we were busy, eh?
This powerful combination of mapping data and underwater imagery will be used to understand this new reef and its role within the incredible Great Barrier Reef World Heritage Area.
Right. Yeah.
Well, I thought this was a great story.
That was
it
good.
excited me.
I thought we'd end on that.
I was
'cause it
excited because usually you just hear about how half of the coral is dying from
Yeah.
bleaching.
Leaves
this was-
ocean acidity. shit
Yeah,
like that.
so this
And
was
I knew
kind
An-
of a
I knew Anna
uplifting
would
story.
like this
yeah.
story.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe if you want.
Yeah.
We're just gonna get better. That's all there is to it. I am the Jay Tyler,
And I'm Tracy the Green One.
and if you don't know,
Now, you know.
go get out and play with your fun kids.